You've likely heard of our practical homesteading DVDs that have helped literally thousands of folks across the world learn the practical nuts and bolts to become as independent as possible from the systems of the world. I'm particularly concerned about how dependent almost everyone is on the system for their most basic necessities of life, such as water and heat and food.
For years, we've been steadily producing more and more training DVDs by numerous experts in an effort to shorten your learning curve and save you the time and money that would be lost from needless mistakes. We're talking about skills like gardening, dealing with fruit trees, developing a spring head, food preservation, wood cook stoves, natural remedies, and a whole lot more. Really, we just want to see you succeed. And time and again, we have seen what an incredible impact it makes to have access to the right training ahead of time.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of chasing down rabbit trails and wasting my time and money by trying out some harebrained theory dreamed up by an expert and posted on YouTube. I don't have time for that. I want solid info presented by an instructor with lots of real-world experience. I want the methods that just plain work, and that's what you get in our DVDs. The gardening collection is our 6 DVD set with fall gardening, spring gardening, and the year-round gardening DVDs.
So in the fall gardening double DVD set, you'll learn the key building blocks for starting out your garden successfully. You'll learn why fall is the best time to start preparing your garden and how to do it right step by step, from breaking up virgin ground to planting a fall crop. You'll see how to take a soil sample and add the right amendments for balancing your soil so your food not only looks pretty, but more importantly, is super packed with nutrition.
Spring gardening picks up where fall gardening left off. The 3 DVDs in this set teach you how to wake up your garden in the spring, how to direct plant and transplant in the garden beds, caring for the young tender plants, scaling up to larger field crops, step-by-step instructions on building a low-cost compost bin that really works, and much more.
So year-round gardening takes you on a tour of a working small-scale farm that grows produce all year long. You'll learn their tips for success, especially for growing in the cold seasons.
When it comes to having a secure food source, diversity is so important. If you lose certain crops from an infestation of pests or disease or weather-related problems, being diversified can save the day, as problems that impact one crop may leave another one untouched. So large and small fruits are an essential addition to any vegetable garden. Our double DVD fruit culture collection shows you how to handle small fruits like blueberries, strawberries, and grapes, in addition to larger fruits like apples. You'll learn how to save yourself a ton of money by grafting your own new fruit trees, how to prune fruit trees and propagate grapes, and more.
And speaking of fruit trees, Planting by the Blueprint demonstrates a very unusual method of planting fruit trees that many have found to yield exceptional results. Fruit trees take years to bear much fruit, and this unique method gives your new fruit trees the start they need to grow quickly and grow strong. This really is required watching before you plant your fruit trees.
Finally, making a tasty meal straight from the garden is often an unfamiliar task that many find difficult. With this in mind, you'll be getting the Contemporary Artisans Collection book. In this practical cookbook, you'll get many recipes and ideas on how to make delicious meals when eating from your garden. But it's more than just a cookbook. It also has a host of helpful tips for storing, preserving, and for using food on the homestead.
So growing food is great, but it's only the first step. You'll also have to preserve that food for use during the winter. That's why we produced the 4 DVD set, Preserving the Harvest. This thorough yet concise set visually demonstrates the various ways to preserve your food for use during the winter. You'll learn all about canning with an actual demonstration of both water bath and pressure canning. It's not scary, and in fact, it can actually be fun if you know what you're doing. You'll learn how to properly dehydrate, freeze, vacuum seal, cure, and culture food properly and safely. We even show you how to preserve grains indefinitely and use root cellars. There's even a segment that demonstrates how to make your own delicious homemade bread.
In addition to all that, you'll learn how to plan your food needs out and actually come up with a fairly accurate estimate of what food and how much food your family uses and needs. The methods we teach in these videos will make sure the food you store never gets too old and that you don't end up with a bunch of disgusting food stashed in your basement waiting until it goes bad. This is for a working pantry and a homestead that is perpetually prepared, not a doomsday bunker.
That's right. So the Homestead Skills Collection starts out with the only totally independent and reliable source of heat, and that's wood heat. The most versatile way to heat with wood is using a modern Amish-made wood cook stove. With one fire, you can not only heat your home, but also heat your hot water and cook and bake your food, all with that one fire. Our DVD, Getting Started with Wood Cook Stoves, shows you how to properly use and get the most out of your stove. It covers everything from choosing the right wood to the nuts and bolts of how to actually cook with a wood cook stove.
When living in a rural area, it's especially important to prevent a home fire, since it can take a while for the fire department to arrive. In our DVD, Dealing with Fire on the Homestead, a rural fire chief walks you through the important precautions that you need to know about. In addition, anyone who heats with wood should be aware of several common sense rules that make a chimney fire all but obsolete. But what if the unthinkable happens and you do have a fire? What do? You'll learn straight from the fire chief's mouth what your best course of action is. Even wildland fires are considered in this important presentation.
All the other things we've mentioned are of little use if you are incapacitated from sickness. And while there is a lot of attention given to the benefits of herbal remedies, there's another important modality that is largely untapped and is incredibly helpful. I'm talking about hydrotherapy, the use of water externally on the body, often using a contrast of hot and cold. And what could be a simpler remedy than water? We have found it to be incredibly effective in our home when dealing with many health-related issues in our family. You'll learn all about it in our DVD ebook combo, The Lost Art of Natural Remedies, Hydrotherapy.
Tools for Country Living walks you through an experienced homesteader's tool room and demonstrates what to look for and what sort of useful tools you might find at a yard sale for little to nothing. Most of these tools are low-tech, non-electric hand tools that are incredibly useful on any homestead.
Then, of course, there's water, perhaps the king of all the necessities. While most folks realize that being on a municipal water system is not a good idea, they don't think about the fact that most folks living in the country have a well, and that well does them no good when the power is down. Think electric pump.
But while there are ways to set up a well independently, there's an often forgotten water source that used to be extremely common years ago: springs. But how do you develop a spring, protect it from contamination, and channel it into a pipe? Our DVD Springhead Development demonstrates in real life how to do it using a time-tested method developed by a man with many springheads under his belt.
While it's an important necessity to learn the nuts and bolts of homesteading, sometimes it really helps to just take a tour of homesteads where folks are actually implementing various aspects of this lifestyle. That's exactly what you'll find in our epic DVD, Urban Danger. Not only will you tour a wide variety of homesteads and see how they do things, you'll find it to be quite inspirational to see the impact this lifestyle has on their lives. This is also a great DVD for sharing with folks you care about and would like to consider making a transition in this direction.
One of our most popular products is a DVD set that I consider to be required for anyone who's serious about food independence. It all started several years ago when we decided to put our money where our mouth was and take a 5-day intensive hands-on gardening course by Bob Gregory, a man that I consider to be one of the foremost experts on all things gardening. It cost $500 a person at that time, now it's over $600, and I can tell you that it was worth every penny. I highly recommend it. But not everyone can take a week off of work and travel to West Virginia and pay $600 for a course. So I talked with Bob and we filmed his course and put it on DVD for the benefit of those who couldn't attend in person. And it's called Food Growers Guidelines and turned into 9+ hours on 6 DVDs that are absolutely packed with what you need to take your garden to the next level. Not only do you learn about soil science, but you'll learn the best approaches for dealing with pests, such as how to use the disease triangle to your advantage and avoid costly and damaging sprays whenever possible. I can't recommend this training enough.
Finally, we come to Solar Powered Basics, our newest DVD set. This set starts with an extremely popular online mini course that we put together and greatly expands it. You'll take a tour through our off-grid home, learn what components go into an off-grid solar system, how they all fit together, and how you can start this whole process right now.
You'll learn all about off-grid batteries, how to choose the right ones and maintain them properly, And I share with you how to dramatically cut the cost of your power system by becoming energy efficient. You'll learn about solar panels and charge controllers, and even how to do your own solar shade analysis to determine how much shade you can expect any month of the year. And you'll also learn what things you can start doing right now to begin your off-grid transition. And if you're a woman and wondering whether you could live off the grid, there's a section just for you.